variable that are defined inside the main function, because it is parsing it as a copy and it will take a lot of CPU memory. But if we pass this variable as references, just like we are doing here in this swap function, it will not send the copy. So let's take a look at the second application of reference variable: avoiding a copy of large data structure. Imagine a function that has to receive the large object. If we pass it without reference, a new copy of it is created, which causes the wastage of CPU time and memory. So we can use reference to avoid this. So basically what's I'm trying to say is, when you pass some variable as a parameter to the function, so they passed as a copy, and any changes made to these variable which we are passing as parameter to the function will not affect the original variable that are defined inside the main function, because it is parsing it as a copy and it will take a lot of CPU memory. But if we pass this variable as references, just like we are doing here in this swap function, it will not send the copy, but it will send the address of this A and B variable. So it will not send the values but the address where these two variables are stored inside the memory. So by sending reference, we are accessing the memory address of these variable, not the values of these variable. So it will take less CPU memory, and it will obviously speed up your program or code. So let's look at an example of this. Here we have a struct. Now before C++ we use struct in C languages, but in C++ we also can use struct and object and classes both. That's why it's C++. It's an increment to the traditional C language. So we have our struct of student, which have three data members. First one is string, which is name. Second one is address, which is also string. Then we have roll number, which is of integer type. If we remove and in below function, a new copy of student object is created. We use cons to avoid accidental updates in the function, as the purpose of the function is to print s only. So let's take a look at this. We have our function void. Now void is those function which doesn't return any value. So that's why we use void when we know that this function will not return any type of value or element, because this function is only used to print these statements, and inside of this we are sending the object of student as a reference. So you can see it will save a lot of CPU and memory in your system. And third, we can use this in for each loop to modify all the objects. We can use reference in for each loop for modify all the elements. Let's take a look at the example. So we have our main function. Inside of this we have a data type of vector. Now vector, you can say, is also an type of array, but in array we have to define the number of element which we want to store inside an array. But in case of vector, you don't have to define the number of element you want to store in vector at the time you are creating a vector. So here we are creating an integer type vector having 4 values, 10, 20, 30 and 40. Now we are passing this vector in this inside of this for each loop, and we are defining this integer x and as a reference to the vector, and then we increment 5 to every element inside the vector. So when we will see out this program, the value will be something like that: 15, 25, 40, 35 and 45. So that's all from today's tutorial. In next tutorial we will see another question for cracking the beginner level C++ interview questions. Till then, take care and thanks for watching.